Hello, class. Welcome to GED202. My name is Dr. Brian Aschenfelder, and sustainability is my business.
Hey, Mom.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Really good. Do you have more questions for
I
me?
have another question for you this week.
Oh, okay. Am I going to know the answer to it?
No, but that's the point, and it's not. I mean, you're going to take that the wrong way, but here's this week's big question. Why should entertainers care about sustainability?
Because they are always in the public eye.
Okay, keep going. Tell me more.
Oh my gosh. Because they're always filmed wherever they go. Somebody's always taking a picture of them. They are in the public constantly.
Mm-hmm. So
and you want more? So I have no idea.
Well, so would you say that someone in the entertainment industry, say an entertainer, an actor, filmmaker, would you say that someone in the industry has a responsibility to use their platform for good?
Yes.
As entertainers, we're sort of highly scrutinized, right? Our industry is highly scrutinized, and so we have a responsibility to be doing the right thing because we have this platform that nobody else has, right? So
you're monitored constantly.
Yeah, right. So I mean, I'll say this a little differently too, which is that there's an altruistic reason that I'm not going to talk about this week, which is, right, ecological. There's some ecological implications, and you might really care about those. The world is burning, as it were. But this week is not about that. This week is like, why my audience? Why this audience? Why now? We live in an ordinary world, one with extraordinary challenges, and sustainability is going to be just one of those challenges. In the last decade, the major production studios and theater companies have latched onto this and have really emphasized their belief in its importance for their audiences, sure, but also for their own people. Today, you'll find more and more messages created by the entertainment industry directed at the entertainment industry about just this messaging like
environmentality, our commitment to act with the environment in mind. Here at the Walt Disney Company, we can make small changes in our everyday lives that can protect nature and have a big impact on the environment. Conserve fuel by carpooling to work or riding a bike. Look for ways to conserve electricity. Try reusable bottles and bags. And use water more responsibly. That's more like it. Look at these folks, all playing their part. Reduce excess waste with reusables and avoid printing when you can. When we show our environmentality, we create a great, big, beautiful, and greener tomorrow.
From this, it seems obvious that as an industry, we're broadcasting this message that we care. But why do we care so much? We might have deep aspirations to just do more good for the world, but why would entertainers care about this particular thing, this one thing, when there surely are other worthy causes out there deserving of our attention And when in the grand scheme of the entire world, they couldn't possibly be contributing that much to the problem, could they? For our first glimpse into this, I bet Bob Iger, Disney's former CEO and executive chairman, could give us a hint.
I'm working hard with my wife and my family to behave in a more responsible way, and I'm proud of some of the steps that we've taken. But I fundamentally believe that for our children and our children's children and future generations, that the impact that we have on this world is something we need to be very mindful of, and we do not have an endless supply of resources, whether it's water or air or fossil fuel, and we have got to be mindful of that, particularly as you have a population base of the world that is growing in rather dramatic fashion. I think it's really important, and so I feel it's essential for me as the CEO of the Walt Disney Company to see that our company behaves responsibly.
And this just isn't one snapshot in time. This message continues to permeate at all levels of the entertainment industry from its highest leaders. So for us, as much as entertainment might be a way of life, a culture, a state of being, it's also a job. And why does anyone who is at a job do anything at all? Maybe because it's an expectation their boss, the studio exec, the producer, the director, or some other leader has laid out. So when you're at work, why do you do anything at work?
I want to show that I can do it. I want to prove that I am capable of doing this the proper way.
And so why else might you do something at work?
Well, some people do it just for the pay.
Okay, and there's another way to say that.
The money.
Well, there's a different... like, who's giving you the money?
Corporations.
Yeah, so when you're at work, why do you do anything at work?
To please corporate?
Like, if you didn't care about the ecological things, right? You're not an ecologist, you don't really care about nature, the ecosystems, you might do it simply because your boss tells you to do it, right? I mean, that's going to be a reason. So anyway, there's some overarching implications here. It's just like, this is the way industry is doing it now. So even if you don't care, you're going to be forced to care because the one thing that we do at work is we do what our boss tells us to do. Anyway,
and you know what? I have never been in that situation, so that never entered my mind.
And just to be clear, this isn't just a Walt Disney Company thing. This style of thinking extends all the way across the major organizations in this space. The Apples, the Googles, the Amazons, the Warner Medias. They're all saying these types of things, which creates both a consistent message and also a really consistent way of producing content in the industry, one in which we'll all be expected to participate because it's just the way everyone is thinking about it. A quick search of the internet will reveal all of these companies are releasing videos about how they think about and what they're doing about the issues around sustainability.
At this moment of historic urgency, every leader of nations, of companies, and of communities has a particular burden to act.
The science is clear. We have until 2030 to chart a sustainable course for our planet, or face the worst consequences of climate change.
At AT&T, sustainability begins with the services we provide.
Sustainability at Amazon is incorporated into every part of our business worldwide.
You're living here, or here, or maybe here. At Sony, we are focused on the potential that resides here.
It can be easy to forget that culturally, these ideals have been ingrained in our DNA as entertainers. Even if we didn't care about sustainability because our bosses said to, we might care about sustainability because it's a principle on which our industry has been founded. As evidence of that, here's a clip of Walt Disney speaking on the importance of conservation all the way back in 1950.
Conservation isn't just the business of a few people. It's a matter that concerns all of us. But if we will use our riches wisely, if we will protect our wildlife, these things will last us for generations to come.
All right, why else might we care about this stuff? If it's not going to be about some altruistic desire we have to protect the environment, or because our big bosses say to, or because it's culturally relevant to our industry, it very well might be driven by the consumers. Production companies are becoming compelled to look at their own practices in order to meet audience expectations. If it's something the audience wants, then it creates an awful lot of value for the production. We might care because from a brand perspective, from a reputation perspective, we see that for our audience, this thinking is important to them. And if it's important to them, it must be important to us.
We did this because we felt, as I described earlier, was the right thing for the company in terms of creating value. And at no time do I recall ever being advised that we should be kind of get with the program because there was looming legislation or law, whether it was global in nature or national in nature, not at all. And as I said earlier, I think I fundamentally believe that this is good for the company from a brand perspective, from a reputation perspective. And the other thing that is very apparent to us in almost everything we do is people, when you have a brand that is global as Disney and as valuable as Disney, people have a set of expectations of Disney. And when that name is on anything, they have characteristics in mind. And one of those characteristics is what company does it come from? How does that company behave? Who are the people behind that company? So we live with that dynamic every day. And as I've said a few times tonight, how we behave in terms of environmental responsibility is an important component of all of that, and of either meeting the expectations of our customers and our shareholders and our employees, or exceeding them, which is obviously something I'd love to do.
You'll hear time and again how big enterprises need to be engaged because they have the inertia to help us move the needle. From a practical perspective, entertainers might care about sustainability because our industry has the mass, visibility, and influence to create change, real change, the type of change that people talk about. We might care because inspiring behavior change from our platform can create an awful lot of difference.
I do know, though, that businesses, when they change their behavior, can make a difference. When you have, the footprint that we have, when you run the number of vehicles that we've got, as a for instance, thousands of vehicles at our theme parks around the world. When you have 100 million, we have 100 million people visit our theme parks on an annual basis. What they consume, how we transport them, how cool the air conditioning is in their room when their lights get turned off. We have thousands of hotel rooms. There's a lot you can do. And what's interesting about it is we're finding more and more that our guests want to know about these things. And so we used to be really relatively kind of tight-lipped about our so-called practices. People just weren't interested. They want to come and have fun. They're actually interested in not only while they're having fun and kind of how they're having fun. They get on one of our steam trains, those classic steam trains that Walt put in Disneyland in the 50s. They're now run on vegetable oil. And we tell them that, and they love to hear that. It makes them feel better. One, they feel better about riding it, interestingly enough. Two, they feel better about Disney, that Disney would go that far. By the way, the trains smell like French fries, but...
As evidence of this, I can point you to the Team Trees movement on YouTube from a couple years ago. In this case, major influencers on the platform, including Mr. Beast and Mark Rober and many, many others, challenged their followers to participate with them in a major environmental movement, one that took off and was incredibly successful. It was billed as the largest collab in YouTube history. Imagine that, the largest collaboration in the platform's history centered around a sustainability movement.
You guys spammed me to plant 20 million trees on Twitter, Reddit, all over my comment section, so I made it happen.
Today, we will be planting 20 million trees. Yeah, so like the internet challenged Mr. Beast to plant 20 million trees when he had 20 million subscribers. And that's a tall ask. So then they said, okay, fine, you can get a bunch of other creators to help. Eventually settled working with the Arbor Day Foundation. So they're like the largest, most well-respected tree planting nonprofit. We got them to agree that for every $1 we give them, they would plant 1 tree. That's a sweet deal, but to plant 20 million trees by 2020, that gives us 2 months. So like the only way this works is if everyone comes together.
I got a bunch of fans together and we planted thousands of trees. Me and Mark have invested months of time behind the scenes into getting this all together, and I'm personally planting 100,000 trees, aka a $100,000 donation. I've literally tried my best to do everything I can, and now it's your guys' turn. You guys have been spamming my comment section and spamming my mentions on Twitter telling me to do something. And now I want to see that same energy. Wow, we actually hit our goal of planting 20 million trees. That's insane. This all started when I hit 20 million subscribers, and as a joke we were like, let's plant 20 million trees. Team Trees might have started with me, but it definitely outgrew me. Over 500,000 unique people donated to the campaign, and hundreds if not thousands of people with influence promoted it.
And last, but certainly not least of all, entertainers might care about sustainability because there are an awful lot of great stories waiting to be told out there. News stories, brave stories, stories of truth, stories of redemption, stories that are worth telling, that need telling. Let's go back to Bob Iger for some examples.
You've made some movies that highlight some of these environmental issues. Earth was a couple of years ago, I guess?
Last year.
Last year. You have a new one coming out.
Oceans.
Oceans. When is that coming out?
Earth Day.
Earth Day. Are those successful movies? Are they make money for you?
We've only released one, and we intend to release one every Earth Day certainly for the next 6 or 7 years. They're modestly successful from a direct bottom line perspective, but I think they're enormously successful in terms of building respect for the company and inspiring people to be more respectful of their environment.
Do you see a lot of environmental themes popping up in movies, movie scripts? Do you find that more common these days?
You're definitely seeing more. I don't know just how much more, but it's becoming more common in movies and television shows, yes.
Not to put you on the spot, but have you seen Avatar?
Yes, I have.
What was your response?
In
Recognizing
what
that you
sense?
have News Corps employees.
I've talked to Rupert Murdoch about this, congratulating him for having the guts to support a film with that kind of budget. I don't know where I would have been when it was going above X level and Y level and Z level. But I actually thought it was. I think Jim Cameron did a brilliant job with that film, and I give him tremendous credit for having the vision and for News Corp for having the guts. And I think the box office speaks volumes.
You said the guts for spending that kind of money, but did you see an ideological message in the movie?
Yeah, I think there was ideological. I think there was a message in the movie. There are messages in a lot of movies. Yeah, I didn't go to see it for that.
Yeah.
Nor did I leave overly inspired to do more necessarily. Yeah. But yeah, I think there was a message. Sure.
Yeah. That's enough on Avatar. You did a good job. Thank you very much.
I wish it were ours.
As a result, we're increasingly seeing production studios jump all in on inspiring environmental content. Here's just the latest trailer from Netflix promoting both their corporate attitude on sustainability, but also the stories they will be telling on their platform.
The fundamental principle of nature is survival.
We're facing paradise lost.
We're replacing the wild with the tame.
And this is not what was me. This is just the reality of what's happening.
It's important that we start deploying solutions unnaturally fast.
The fires, the poisoned air and water, the unlivable future, the destruction that will follow me, it starts with you.
If I seem like a radical, it may be because I see things that others do not.
You realize that there's a line that can't be crossed.
There might
might be some hope in this wasteland after all. Let's ride!
If we act now, we can yet put it right.
What if we create a more positive image of this future?
Make us proud.
This has never been about the rebuilding of buildings. It's been about the rebuilding of human lives.
We live at a unique moment in time where we can change history.
This is the story of our changing planet and what we can do to help it thrive.
Planet Earth is a miracle in the universe. We are its caretakers, and it is our duty to stay. Stay and fight for our world.
In the end, it's all connected. The reasons our bosses are drawn to this stuff, the reason that our audiences are drawn to this stuff, the reasons these great stories pull us in, they inspire us, they move us, they connect us, they remind us of the human spirit. By caring about sustainability, we inherently extract the social value, planetary value, and financial value from embracing its ideals. We believe in them because they make it real for us, and in turn, it becomes real for us because we believe in it. As sustainability is here to stay, the only question left to ask is not why do we care, but instead, how will we respond?